3,
2,
1. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Life, and this is Life Lessons Gaming. We have two of the most amazing voice actresses with us today. We have Alexandra Guelff and Amanda Rischel, the voice actresses for Cantarella in Wuthering Waves and Carathea, respectfully. This has been a long journey. It's been about like a solid 10 months since Rinascita started, and it's kind of crazy, honestly, just thinking back on everything that's happened. So what I wanted to do today was to just kind of have a conversation with them. We can talk about their experiences with the story and just kind of like a little bit of a roundup, I guess you could say. So before we get into that, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. You all can just let us know. We can start with you, Alex, about just, your background, how you kind of got started with voice acting, and how you got started with voice acting and how you came to Wuthering Waves. And then Amanda can go next.
Okay, hi everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be speaking with you live. I am based in London, as is Amanda, and one of the things that's quite common for an actor based in London is that we work in loads of different media. So I went to drama school a long time ago, and then I've been working as like a regular actor in theatre and in film and TV for a really long time. And I've done sort of odd voice jobs here and there, but it wasn't like a recurring thing. But then I got an audition with Side, who is the localization company that does the work for Wuthering Waves, and loved working there, kind of hit it off and started to build like work there more frequently. And it has just become by a mile the most satisfying kind of acting work I've ever done. I love games. I love working in an interactive performance medium. And I also, my whole career, because I'm like classically trained for the stage, but my whole life I have been told, I know, I've basically just been plagued by my directors yelling at me that they can't hear me because my voice is too quiet.
Oh, wow.
And then I realized that when I'm working in front of a microphone, that's not a problem at all. And so actually it's been really liberating to not have to like be pushing all the time, and to just use what is like naturally quite a quiet instrument that I have. So I actually love working in recorded media so much, and I've loved working on this game.
It's actually really interesting because, and this is just to let you all know who are watching, when we had first got on this call, I was actually shook a little bit. Like, I was legitimately like, wait, you sound like that just like normal? Like at base? Like you actually just sound, I was like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I would probably just like have a conversation with you just to hear you talk. So it's like that was just like,
kind. I'm probably on my best behavior because I'm speaking in public. I a lot of people in London, like our accents change all over the place. So I'm quite posh now because I've got Cantarella on the brain.
No, but
we
yeah,
love it.
Absolutely. It is a joy to listen to. With that being said, however, it's interesting because both of you all represent kind of like two different, I'm not gonna say necessarily sides of a spectrum, but just two different parts of a spectrum, where it's like you have the more kind of sultry, soothing voice of Cantarella, but then you have the duplexity, which even to this day, and for those of y'all who might not be aware, like she doesn't just voice Carathea, she also voices Fleur-de-Lis. And none of us saw that coming when we first listened. Maybe there's some of you all who are just playing through the story currently, and you didn't know that they share the same voice actress, but they do, and Amanda's range is just like phenomenal. So if you would please.
Yeah. Yes, as Life said, I voiced Carathea in Wuthering Waves, but I also voiced Fleur-de-Lis, who, if we're keeping it vaguely spoiler-free, is, her counterpart, I suppose. And they have quite different pitch ranges because there's quite a big sort of age and experience gap between them. And like Alex, I'm also a classically trained sort of I think, bog standard British actor, and that I did all the theatre work first, which I think is a really good foundation for any acting work, really. And then I did some screen acting, I did motion capture, and voice acting is actually the newer medium. I've been doing it for years, but it's still the one I came to the latest. But I always wanted to work in video games specifically. I'm a big gamer myself. I've always grown up playing games, and like Alex said, it's just such a unique medium to work in, because it's really the only truly interactive one where you know that nothing happens without some form of player input, whether it's choice or just like moving, you know, a joystick or a mouse. And I think in a way that means inevitably as a player, you will always feel more responsibility for what happens in the story. And I think that means you can affect the player in a different way that you can't in, say, a film, because there's always going to be that distance of knowing that you're watching it, you know, from afar. So yeah, I came into voice acting very specifically because I wanted to work in games. And like Alex mentioned, you know, we work at Side for Wuthering Waves, and actually my first audition for Side was for Cristoforo, and it's crazy that first of all that I booked my first audition there, but also that it was such a big one and not, you know, just like mall guard number 2
NPC,
you know, like,
NPC number 34.
yeah, exactly. It could have been, and that would have been amazing too, but I didn't realize how big a part it was.
That's legitimately crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because Cristoforo has been like such one of the most integral characters to the entirety of the Rinascita arc. And so it's just like, that's crazy, but you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Now I have to ask, this is a question for both of you. What is your favorite game? We're going to start with Amanda first this time, and then we're going to move to Alex. So
favorite game of all time?
Yeah, if you can. I know it's a hard question.
No.
Yeah, but say, I can start easily.
I'm ready.
But so I'll just start real quick then. Mine is very easy. It's Kingdom Hearts, specifically Kingdom Hearts 2, because that is the best one. God willing, Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out before, I don't know, I'm in a retirement home or something. But yeah, so all right, let's hear it, Amanda.
Okay, my favorite game of all time, anyone who's ever heard me answer this question before, it's Planescape Torment. It's a game that is 25 years old at this point. It has some of the most beautiful, philosophical, and still relevant writing of any games. If you're a gameplay gamer, you might find that a bit like slow. I think it has wonderful writing, and I will defend it till I die.
Fair enough.
My favorite game is Civilization 6. I'm saying because I have not played Civilization 7 before. Civilization 6, my favorite game was Civilization 5, so just Civilization period. But I'm a big history fan. I kind of love learning about anything, and I have found that playing that game has taught me more about like realpolitik and trade and warfare, and like there's just so much that I have learned about the world, because it's such an incredibly detailed, like mimetic copy of how the world actually functions. And I love that there are loads of different ways you can play it. Like, I am not a warmonger at all, but I can still win the game with my powerful libraries. So yeah, Civilization, hands down.
That's cool, actually. Like, you know, one of the things about games is that, and you all have said it a couple times, I just want to echo it just to further compliment the importance of the statement. They are quite literally the most immersive medium to experience anything, really. I don't think there's a single, there just is. Because of the fact you can combine it with all the other mediums. It's basically like the culmination, and then on top of that, it being immersive. And even in the future, when we get, you know, like some incredibly immersive new gen forms of virtual reality or something like that, at the end of the day, it's still a game. And so, the point you brought up though, even though for like learning, that's like a really big thing, because like I said, so I come from a family of teachers. My mother's a teacher. My aunts, everybody teaches in some form of fashion. And so it's like that's one of the ways that I've seen, even like I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed did it too, where like back in the day they had this, like when they did Assassin's Creed Origins, they were really touting this impressive feature in the game where you could basically like go in the game and explore vast parts of Egypt essentially. And they use those in like because that's where Origins took place, and they use them in like colleges, I think, and things of that nature. And so it's just a really cool way to get people more engaged in learning as well. So
I think also because you can be so depending on what country you're from, you can be so locked into the education that is like the curriculum of that country's perspective. And so you want to even hear about these hugely significant and powerful civilizations from other parts of the world. So to be able to kind of get outside of those constraints, which gaming does so well.
Absolutely.
It empathetically connects you with their experience as well as informationally. Yeah, it's the best.
100% agree.
What I think one thing games do as well that is incredible is kind of like how, you know, for people who grew up reading a lot, I think reading is a wonderful way of practicing your own empathy because it puts you in the headspace or position of someone who has a very different lived experience and goes through different circumstances and might be very different to you, and you still have to try and understand where they're coming from. But games literally do that, right?
Yes.
They will drop you in. You are now this character who lives in this world where these things happen, and they could be coming from something that is so different, and you will have nothing in common, but by playing as them, you will learn, you'll see different perspectives and you'll experience them. And I think that's such an important thing for us to be able to interact with other people and be tolerant of different viewpoints and experiences.
100%. Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, gaming, TLDR gaming is awesome. TLDR
and hey,
gaming
like
is
shout
awesome.
out Assassin's Creed for doing those really detailed like 3D models of Notre Dame that actually have helped reconstruct the Notre Dame.
You're right. I remember that.
Because there's one of the games where you can scale the Notre Dame, right? So they had incredibly detailed 3D models, and when it sadly, you know, when the fire happened and it, you know, parts of it were damaged, they were actually able to help reconstruct by offering those incredibly detailed models to the people doing the reconstruction. So I mean, like, that's well amazing. Done, Assassin's Creed, I guess.
Yeah, it was funnily enough, it was one of the lesser enjoyed ones, if I recall correctly. But it was also funny. No, 100%. But it was also my first one that I ever played, and I enjoyed it because I had not. Now I know all the Assassin's Creed OGs are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, no! Why is that the one you played first?" But it was fun for what it was, and as you said, you cannot argue against the value that it brought to the world. So yeah, awesome. So now that we have established that, I had to ask that question. Like I said, 2.x has been a wild ride, to say the least. I want to ask you all, what is your favorite moment that you've experienced? If you can think of one. Now, two things. Your favorite moment in the game as a whole, it could be with your character or it could be with another character. The second thing is your favorite line that you yourself delivered. And if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to hear it.
For me, it's a tie between the finale of 2.2, which is obviously incredibly significant to me, but I also just think because that was the first bit of the Rinascita and Wuthering Waves that I experienced, that just left such a lasting impression on me because of how epic and cinematic and emotional that was. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to move me as much as it did. And it wasn't because I'd worked on it. I think it was just genuinely, I had no expectation of what this game really was. And so when I saw that, I was like, wait, I'm blown away by everything about this. And I had a similar feeling. I've played all of the game now. The finale of 2.7, like the final bit, you know, if you've played it, you know what I'm referring to. Again, it's just an emotional roller coaster ride, and it really is in both instances, but obviously 2.7 to a higher degree. It is the culmination of hours spent figuring out a story, piecing together information, fighting alongside friends, you know. You just go through so many things, and then when you arrive at those final moments and see how it ultimately plays out, it's just such an interesting feeling of relief and excitement and exhaustion. It's everything at once. But those two moments really hit me.
Fair. And your line.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a lot of very good lines in the sense I have a lot of profound lines.
Yeah.
And certainly in 2.7, I think there's a lot of lines, so I couldn't quote them verbatim right now, but a lot of things Cartier says about hope, I think is significant. I don't want to go into like a philosophical debate here, but I think one of the things I love about the Rinascita arc is ultimately it's a very philosophical debate about why do people congregate unity. You know, if you've read Thomas Hobbes, you know what I'm talking about. But this opposing idea of do people band together out of fear or do they band together out of hope? And Cartier and the Sentinel are obviously very much on the hope side of that, but I think there's something so beautiful about this notion that we don't band together, we don't seek community and unity because we have no choice and because it's the only way we can survive. We do it because we hope for a better future, we hope for a better society, and only by joining hands can we get there. And I just love all of that. But if I'm being honest, the most fun I've had recording a line are some of the idle lines. Cartier has a line with puppets where she gets to do silly voice. Okay, yeah, sure. So imagine I have hand puppets, right?
Today's story is a great battle between a righteous knight and the wicked Threnodian. And the winner is Cartier the Knight.
That was just really fun to do because I realized that that was an opportunity for me to do a silly voice as the Threnodian. And for some reason, I made the Threnodian American, and I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to imply anything. I think I was just thinking, how can I contrast the Threnodian voice with Cartier's voice?
Nope, that's okay. It's okay. I wish I had like some headphones I could just take off. Like just find them, put them on, and take them off. All right, I'm gone.
The Threnodian doesn't have an American accent, obviously. So I mean, I don't know why I did that. I'm really sorry, but it was fun to record.
You heard it here first. The canceling of Cartier's VA starts here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Just I'll leave.
Okay, so now your turn, Alex.
I think I mean, my favorite moments of 2.0 were not really ones that I was in. There were also Cartier moments because of that, just the climactic battle between Rover and Fleur de Lis, because I love Fleur de Lis so much, and I love Amanda's voice for Fleur de Lis so much, and that like the cinematic where they're like falling through the sky and it's all like golden and beautiful, it was just unbelievable. And especially I mean I had the privilege in a way because of not really knowing what was going to happen, not knowing at all in fact what was going to happen until I watched streams, because when we record we aren't given the entire script, we're only given our character's part. So because Cantarell is a supporting role in the 2.0 narrative, I know the bits that I pitch into, but I didn't really know the center of the arc. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is what it was all for. Like, this is what I was like putting all of my, leftover resonance energy into this sword for, was so that this could all happen. And then also just for us all to come together at the end of 2.7 was really fun. I hadn't got to interact with Carlotta at all, but obviously the fan community have really enjoyed the Montelli and Phasalia rivalry.
It's like Pokemon Red versus Pokemon Blue and all this stuff. It was so fun
to have our little back-to-back moment and to be like, we'll team up, even though I'm looking at her a bit like,
it's good fan service.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. I was really stumped trying to think for a line, but I tell you what, it has come to me. I'm gonna misspeak because I don't have it to hand, but it's from when you watch me misuse all the terms. When you get her, when you pull her,
yes.
if you successfully receive her.
Yeah, if you pull her, yeah, that's pulls,
Yes.
right? Yep.
Yes. There is her like little introductory thing. So the line that I wanted to do is from her convene animation. And well, should I do the whole thing? I'll do the whole thing.
Go for it. Go.
But I like the end of it the most. The current head of Phasalia, Cantarella, the Bane. Whether I am the bane of the wicked or the pure is yours to decide. Shh. No need to answer. The moment you arrived, the ripples that surrounded you told me what I needed to know. I just like the bit about the ripples. I think it's cool.
Your ASMR.
Yeah, I was just appreciating that. No, that was good. I love the way you said the Bane.
The Bane.
The Bane.
We used to laugh, in the studio. Every time I did that, I'd have to go, the Bane.
You merely adopted the waves. I was born in it. Molded by it. Oh, man.
That's the crossover we need.
Yeah. That is so funny. Okay.
Batman just shows up like, the who?
The who? The what? Actually, that would be Zani.
Oh, yeah.
Zani is essentially the Batman of Rinascita.
Yeah.
It's true. That is true. Yeah, Alex, you might not know this, but yeah, she has a vigilante persona.
Oh,
So-
she does?
You can actually find her on top of the buildings.
Yeah. She actually is Batman.
Quite
Oh,
literally.
that's so cool. Does she have like a Z symbol like Zorro?
No, but she
No.
kind of like changes her outfit.
Yeah, she changes her outfit. She fights at night, and she can be found on the tops of buildings watching over Raguna.
Zani is so cool.
She is.
Doesn't she? She has like one of her fight animations. She just like pulls out a chair.
Yeah, she just sits back and is like,
Yeah, she's like-
"Ugh."
Absolute aura farming.
She is actually my first S6 character. In any gacha game ever, I've never S6'd a limited character. You can S6 the standard characters a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Technically, my first one was, well, it's from a different game, but this was my first limited character ever because I was just like, nah, Zani's way too cool. Plus, she has a parry, and I'm weak to characters that have parries and characters with white hair. It's just the rules. So, yeah, she's my favorite in
She's
that
so
regard.
cool.
Augusta is a very practically close second. Like it's so close between the two of them. From a gameplay perspective and all that, it's just, yeah, they're both really fun. But
Do you have a weapons preference? Like, is there a particular type of weapon that is your kind of like go-to most
Great
satisfying
sword.
thing to play? I wondered because of those
and,
two.
yeah, both of them have great swords. Outside of great sword, it would be so Jian Shin. I think she has like one of the best character designs in the whole game. She's the like Taoist
She's the
monk, and she's one of the characters you can lose your 50-50 to. She has like a white, black, and green sort of aesthetic, and
does
like,
she have that cool bit of hair that like does this at the top? Am I thinking?
I
of
think
the
she
right
has like a
person?
little, like a little
I think
curl.
she has a little like.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I said, black and white is the aesthetic, and I like hand-to-hand combat characters or whatever. So it's like greatsword or hand-to-hand combat, and then like that's a close second with like feet. So if we ever get like a kickboxer or something like that, like somebody who that would be. I mean, technically, okay, Ling Yang is technically that character. Technically, I like Ling Yang. Like I like Ling Yang. Believe it or not, I actually do like him. But I think I just want like a little bit more. But he's very close to that. Maybe somebody could do kickboxing on the ground as well as in the sky. But yeah, all that to say, that would be my answer. What about you all, actually? So that's a fun question.
I don't know. I think I'm just partial to swords, but that's like all the characters I started out with had like swords, and I don't know. I did it badly, so like everyone had swords, and I used all the materials for swords, and then I was like, I have no one like with a broad blade, so like what do I do with all these things, right? And all the characters ended up having been like sword or pistol users, all the ones I have. So I'm just like, those things I've had to farm so much, and everything else I'm just like, well. Anyway. I think I just like I like the idea of swords, but I like the elegance of a smaller sword. Maybe it's because I only know how to fight with like I say as if I actually do. I've only trained with smaller blades, so I think
Would
that's
like
what
a
I can relate
rapier
to.
count?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I can like better relate to. Like, I have really weak wrists, so I feel like a broad blade, I'd just be like, nah, I'm gonna die. So
I mean, a sword made out of like 100 other swords does seem like
that
quite
is
a big
cool, but I couldn't lift it.
Exactly.
Leave it to Augusta.
Shout out to Augusta.
Yeah, I'm a sword fan as well, but that's really, it's kind of a gameplay thing because I am so new to playing any kind of game that has conflict in it. Like this, playing Wuthering Waves is basically my first time ever.
Oh.
Like I can tell you, in fact, it's my third time ever because the first time with any combat at all was in Stardew Valley. That's where we're starting with. We're starting with like
wait.
big
What Stardew Valley?
You have violence to start? Actually, wait.
Yes.
No,
There be monsters in the mines.
yeah,
It's
no,
not safe.
I saw my wife. I actually saw my wife play that, and I do remember there were like bugs and stuff in the mines and all that.
Yeah,
Spiders.
but that was my very first time of encountering something like, oh god, something's trying to kill me. And
That's
then
so interesting.
I played Tomb Raider, which I found very scary and difficult, but I love it.
It's a big step
but I
up.
found
Yeah,
super
huge.
easy. But with swords, I have discovered basically it's just there's less of a delay and there's less technique in a way. You kind of it's very quick, so you can just like
Yeah.
click, and you're
Easy
doing
to
straight.
spam.
You don't, So if you don't know what you're doing, I find the sword the easiest thing.
That's
appreciate
fair.
that. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, you
for
don't
I
have
do
to worry
enjoy
about, like, running-
attacking people with my jellyfish, though. Obviously.
Quite obviously. Yeah, I like rectifier users because there's so much you can do with
like
them.
control.
Yeah, like Control, because like you can
Right.
literally do anything. It's quite literally the imagination weapon. Like Encore attacks people with stuffed animals. Like
Yeah.
you're throwing jellyfish at people. Phoebe is shooting light ray. Like there's so much imagination that kind of comes into the fold when you have these type of weapons. So that is like 100% an honorable mention. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about the finale. All right. 2.7 hit. I'm presuming both of you all have played/seen it.
We played it together.
Amanda played it, and I sat over her shoulder.
Yeah, we streamed it together
we streamed
for
it
8
together.
hours like maniacs.
In one go. It
In
was
one go.
intense.
I'm sure. No, that's honestly, I do remember that actually. I remember I popped in for a little bit and it was, oh my gosh. Okay. Was there a moment in the finale that maybe, I mean, there were so many moments from Gal Brenna doing her thing, being the absolute goat Brenna is what I call her.
Go, Brenna.
Okay, I'm just gonna start here. I'll just start here and y'all can let me know y'all thoughts going forward. That final cutscene, okay. I had a lot of expectations going into this finale because like I said, it's been like 9.5 months almost, the baby's been delivered as like the finale is here and it's like there was a lot of expectations. Like were they gonna rush the ending? Were they gonna stick the landing? Were they gonna not stick the landing? And in my personal opinion, I think they stuck the landing.
Oh,
like,
100%.
I really do. And one of the things that was always interesting to me is I was a very big fan of 2.2's ending. With Glory, I Shall Rise. And I forget the name of the other song, but it's the one that played during her night cinematic where you can kind of see at the end of the trailer of the little baby Carithia kind of growing up.
Yeah.
And that song as well. I don't know. Do you remember that name of that song by chance?
Yeah, I think it's called Against the Tide.
Yep, you're right. It is Against the Tide. Both of those songs were incredible, right? And in my mind, I'm just like, man, I don't know how they're gonna beat this one, like, or those two. Like, I really don't. And they didn't so much beat it, but they matched it, in my opinion, which was like incredible. This kind of feels like how I feel whenever Kingdom Hearts comes out, and it's like, okay, Kingdom Hearts 1, Sibling Clean was awesome. Kingdom Hearts 2, was amazing. Sanctuary, and then Dearly Beloved, obviously being the staple for the intro screen. But it's just like when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I was like, I don't know how y'all are gonna beat Simple and Clean and Sanctuary. Like, I really don't. And then they came with a whole different flow with Skrillex and Face My Fears, and I'm like,
oh
yeah, Skrillex worked with.
I wouldn't have expected that.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And they had Skrillex with gosh, I'm gonna get her name, Utada. I think it's Hikari Utada. She's the one who's been singing all the Kingdom Hearts intros since.
That's so cool.
And she came back but did a combo with Skrillex. It was beautiful. But the point is, it's like, that's how I felt with the finale. I was like, oh shoot, they actually just switched it up but made something just as memorable. And I go to sleep to that song. Like, to this day, I actually put that thing on and I just listen to it as I'm falling asleep, because it's that. I'm one of the people who can listen to music, fall asleep to music.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the up tempo, the most intense. You're sleeping to this?
I can.
What?
I can. I'm a pretty. Legitimately, I can listen to a lot of things. When I was a baby, my mom would put classical music on. And now, obviously, that's classical music, but just generally speaking, like, yeah, I can. I just can.
Fair enough.
Superpower. But no, it was.
That's amazing, because I was thinking, like, that's an amazing, like, hype song. Like, I would listen to that.
Same.
Like, at the gym, if you want to, like, go nuts. Yeah. Like, it was so incredible when it kicked in. We were
I would
watching
do both.
We were so tired of the stream, but we're like, we've been going for so long, and then that kicked in, and we were like, ah.
No, yeah, like, it was so good. Like, it was genuinely so good. I made a short about it, my reaction to it. And whenever somebody comments on it, it's like it kind of mini blew up, I guess, on TikTok. It's like a 50K now, or I think it's a 50K, yeah, and still growing. And every time somebody comments on it, I'll click on it, respond to the comment, and then just watch the whole thing through, because it's just like, this thing is just it hits still. And so I was just very pleased. And I think the moment that I actually almost cried, believe it or not, like, at the very end, when Fenrico showed up, there was something inside of me that, like, interesting thing about me, my grandfather is a pastor, and my grandfather is not like some corrupt pastor who, you know, what have you, like, you know,
thankfully.
Yeah, right. Like, obviously Fenrico was being corrupted, but my grandfather is not like Fenrico in that way. But when Fenrico kind of was cleansed, essentially, you got to see kind of the more caring side of him, and that calm, caring voice. Shout out to Rich Keeble, you did an amazing job, my friend. That at the end, I was like, my heart, and I was just like, it was that soothing, caring, guiding voice that was given on Fenrico. That's what reminded me of my grandfather. And so I almost cried. Like, I was legit just like, yo, y'all can't do this to me, man. You can't do this to me.
It's such a good little, appearance. It was so nice, because obviously he was in his own way robbed of the thing he was fighting for, right? Because he kind of died redeeming himself, right?
Yes.
But he didn't get to see the thing he'd been fighting for, and I just feel like him coming back and getting that moment, and to say those final words, kind of, that was just lovely to have him come back and speak those words of hope.
It was.
I really like that.
He basically ended the arc. Yeah. Like, for what it's worth, he was the last voices of, like, true voices of the arc, in terms of, like, cutscenes and all that. And so, yeah, obviously the Praxidus and, Schwarzlock and all of them had their thing, but the real ending, the good ending, was him. Yeah. So what about you all? What were some, like, standout moments from the finale for you?
I was thinking back, when you go into the Journeying Paradise, and there's a part where you go through this, like, corridor, and you encounter every character in this kind of, like, silhouette phantom form, and they're all, like, dying in the way that they feared the most.
Yes.
I thought that was so beautifully written. I watched back a bit of our stream, Amanda, to see it, because I think it took us a little while to cotton on to, like, that's what we were seeing.
Same here.
Yeah.
But then I thought it was so beautiful being like, it was such a really nice like character, like it was a service to each character
Yes.
to show a snapshot of what their deepest fear is. You know, for Cantarella, she was talking about having succumbed to the Threnodian whispers, because that's the fate that's been promised to her since forever.
Yeah.
That was just like, she can't mentally block it out for long enough. And yeah, and I just thought that was a really beautiful detail to put into a finale that is making the work of including all of these characters again. It was like
100%
they don't just
agree
show
with
up
you.
and fight, they show up with their soul.
And
Yeah.
it's also just so fitting of that theme of fear versus hope, right? Like this idea of, even though these were, you know, sort of visions of the way that these characters would fear to die or fear to lose, right? Like, what is the worst outcome for them? And it was interesting to see how for almost all of them, it was some variation of not being able to save the people they cared about, or not being able to be strong enough to hold on, or whatever it was that was specific to them. I just thought it was so beautiful. Like, again, that contrast of fear versus hope, and how ultimately what we see in the story is that the hope prevails, but we need to come together and hope together. Like, we can't do it individually. It's not enough. It's the kind of thing where fear is strong, but hope is stronger when we compound it. And I just think the writing is so beautiful when you actually think about it. While you're experiencing it, you're just like on the ride, but then afterwards you can really reflect on it and be like, oh my God, this is really good storytelling.
Yeah, no, you honestly just brought me back, Alex, and I want my innocence back. You just took it, because I was just reminded.
That bit.
No, Phoebe's hurt me so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she said, I want to remember, if I'm remembering, she said, please don't punish me, or something like that. Because, you know, she lives her entire life in dedication to the Sentinel, because obviously that's, you know, what she's thinking, not realizing that the Leviathan is there. And obviously the Sentinel was there in spirit to a degree, at least for that 20 years until it passed on. So she wasn't truly wrong. But the fear that she has is that she does all this, and then she got executed by Capitaneus, the Capitaneus Echo, and then says, please don't punish me, because she didn't do anything wrong. And so it's just like that. When I'm telling you, that hit me. That, like, I was like, oh no, because I didn't realize what was happening at first. I see like Roshia is drowning and Brant's trying to save her, and so he's afraid of losing her. And then gosh, you know, like Lupa is afraid of, you know, getting basically the political game of Septimont coming back on her. Like, it's just, you see all these things and you're just like, man, that sucks. But like I said, for me personally, it was actually really interesting. Augusta reminded me of actually Fate. If anybody knows much about the Fate series, the main character's name is Saber, and Saber is basically King Arthur. And in her timeline, she, if I'm remembering this correctly, she basically, everyone around her dies, and she kind of led them to that outcome. And so she kind of blames herself in the sense. And so you saw with Augusta, she was actually fine, because the idea of Saber is like stupid strong. But the whole concept of around Saber is that she was so strong that she took everything kind of like, she took it on herself to the point where she was denying the people around her the dignity to, I don't know, almost the dignity to die in a way, where it's just like, no, I want to fight for my country. But she essentially was a good warrior, but not a good leader, long story short. And I think that was, it looked just like with Augusta, where she probably feared being a great fighter, but not actually being able to lead her people. And then she's like, I failed as a leader. And so yeah, like I said, all those moments, obviously, like I said, Phoebe's hit me probably the hardest out of all of them. But yeah, it was, you took me back. You took me back. Oh man, that's good. Thank you. We need that though. Yeah. Like amongst the hype moments, we need those reminders of like, because it's very easy to overlook.
Right. And then it means when you all come together and everybody's banding, it gives everyone a kind of like grit. Like, oh no, we're not going down that corridor again. We're not doing that. we're
Yeah.
choosing this other way.
We've seen the
100%.
stakes, right?
Yeah.
We've seen what happens when fear wins. So
All right, Amanda, I am so sorry. We should have had Alex go last because that's going to be a hard one.
well, I mean, obviously that's a fantastic moment, but I think another moment that I just have to shout out is, like Avidius, his heroic turn. I mean, shout out to our boy Avidius, like what a legend. And, going out on his own terms, I think that's also I think it's as sad as I am to see the character go.
Yeah.
I think we do need to see those moments of loss and sacrifice and the unhappy endings to cherish the wins more and to remember what we're fighting for. And I think, again, like with Mia in 2.4, I think it's so important to see these. Shout out to Mia. Seeing these characters who, even though ultimately, it's the same with Fenrico, really, like ultimately they don't get to see the thing they're fighting for, but it doesn't invalidate their fight or their sacrifice. Like without them, none of the other things could have happened. Like what they do is still crucial for everyone else to succeed. And so I don't know, I just think it's such a poignant reminder that even if you feel like you ultimately can't do enough or you can't achieve the outcome you want, everyone's work builds on the
and that's
the next
humanity,
one.
honestly. That's just humanity in general. Like we don't always get to personal anecdote, I guess. And this is, it's heavy, so we're here now. Slavery, really. I did American slavery in particular, but I'm sure this applies to all forms of slavery throughout history and even in some places in the world today. I did a video actually on Expedition 33's prologue. I need to continue finishing those. I have to finish the game. I'm halfway through, and now I was going to do like a video about the game in general. But to those who come after is this concept in Expedition 33. And the idea is like, they're on the expedition. For those who don't know, they go on an expedition and they're on 33, but there were expeditions before this, 34, 35, 36, so forth, so on. And the idea is they're trying to achieve a specific goal, but not everybody succeeds. Obviously, it would be great if 33 was the last expedition because that means they succeeded. But their mantra is to those who come after. So we're going to keep doing this, even though the odds seem, insurmountable to some. They're going to keep doing this because if we can just get a little bit further. And in my video, I actually likened it to American slavery in particular because of the fact I thought about it myself. Like, what kept, and this, like I said, is going to get a little dark. So if you're take like a 30-second pause or skip if this is something that's a little bit too much for you. But I thought about it myself. Like, what if the slaves just decided to end it all? Because they realize, like, I'm seeing what's happening to me. I don't want my children to grow up like this. So I'm just going to end it all. I'm not going to procreate. I'm just going to end myself right now. And maybe they all make a pact or something. What was stopping them from just doing that? So that way future generations, because from their perspective, they might have just seen this as the end. Like, it's over for us. We got sold into slavery and now it's over. So, but they didn't. They decided to keep having kids, to keep trying to live, to eventually have a better future. And so, that's kind of what, I guess, like I said, when I think about that concept, to those who come after, for the Avidiuses, for the Mias, it's just like, for the Fenricos, you might not see the outcome, but that doesn't mean that the work isn't worth doing.
Yeah.
So,
and it is still hope and fear, right?
Yeah, the people who are courageous enough to be the first to step out of line, even though if you're the first, you're gonna get see the worst comeuppance. And like, that I didn't know Avidius as a character beforehand, so Amanda was having to explain. I was like, who is this blonde legend? Like, like, what is this? Who's this like Roman surfer guy? I love this so much. But then I was immediately brought into like the depth of that story and him trying to cement his identity and make himself real in a way by writing his own narrative. But the only way he can do that is by sacrificing himself. That's huge.
Like I want to really quick say that once again, just to mention Galbrenna, Like the fact that Galbrenna, as a child, was just so like, she's quite literally the definition of built different. She said, screw this dark tide thing. If you can use, you know, if you're all about consuming, like, how about I do it? How about reverse Uno? And she's like, you know, I'm gonna use you against you. Okay. And him seeing her in the dark tide, her memories in the dark tide, was what encouraged him to say, I'm not gonna, because originally he was gonna accept his fate at one point. He was like, you know what, maybe this is just my part to play, and so I'm just gonna be the best bad guy there is. But he saw Galbrenna, and he was like, you know what, nah, if she can do it, so can I. And all that to come to the conclusion, Cristoforo.
Yeah, we blame.
He didn't let us have like, if you remember that cutscene where Avidius is like, you know, it's a really impactful cutscene. He takes his fist, boom, you know, takes himself out, and, you know, he smiles, and it's just like, oh man, because I liked Avidius quite a bit, because at first you're like a little sus of this guy, but in that moment where he kind of challenges, but this is back in 2.5, he challenges, or not bad, 2.6, he challenges the Senate. And he's like, look, I know what games you guys are playing. I'm here to play this game fair, though. Like, I know y'all have your own agenda, but I'm not about to stoop to your level. So you can either get on board or get out, basically. And I was like, he's dope. He's solid. And so he has that nice moment where he's smiling, and it lasts like 0.2 seconds. And then he falls, and the Cristoforo's like, tragic. Anyway, about that. And it's just like, you didn't let us have a moment. He's just like, I'm not letting y'all have this moment. Like,
also, doesn't he call him pathetic? And it made me so angry, even though I just met the character. I was like, you shut your mouth.
But it's telling as well, isn't it? Because, you know, like, technically, like, if we're being literal, like, you know, if you're referring to pathos, like, you know, yeah, I guess that was pathetic. And I'm very curious to see what we will learn about Cristoforo.
Can you explain what you mean by pathos?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what we will learn about him, because I think as irredeemably evil as he seems currently, I don't think he's going to get a redemption arc, but I think it'll be interesting to learn what is driving him, because I think there's going to be more to it than just, you know, being evil for the sake of it. Like, I feel like he seems so cynical and so, you know, dedicated to his mission, like this whole treating everyone as disposable, and being like, oh well, they don't serve the narrative anymore, get rid. I think there's going to be more to it, like whatever it is that this is about for him. I'm really curious to find out what it is, because I think he's the kind of character who, similarly to Falova, I think has a goal that is so significant that everything else is unimportant to 100%. Him. Even his own fate is kind of, that's not, like, if he dies, oh well, you know, like it was so crazy
when he said that, because he basically felt like he was taking the power away from us.
Yeah,
because like all of us, like, oh yeah, I can't wait till you die. He's like, I don't care when I die. Actually, I know I'm gonna die. It's written in the script. Like, it's just like, you won't let us have anything. But could you explain what you mean by pathos? Because you were saying,
well, so it's just, you know, there's this concept, I suppose, in communication, right, that you can approach. If you're trying to send a message or trying to get someone to come on board your point of view, you can kind of approach it a different way. You could approach it with logic or logos, and you could do it with ethos, ethical, you know, trying to appeal to someone's, you know, sense of morality. But pathos is about appealing to someone's emotion, right? And I just thought it's very, like, I mean, I'm sure Cristoforo was probably just being disparaging, right? And saying, oh, pathetic. But I was just wondering, as we were speaking about it, if there was also, you know, being that Cristoforo is a writer and someone who's very aware of how he's communicating and telling the story, if there was also some kind of reference there, being to, like, this character is a character that we as the players, we were all feeling for in this moment, and he just took it away from us. And I'm curious, like, did he make the character so likable? Detail. I don't know. I'm just thinking, are Kuro just like putting in little things for? I don't know.
It's possible. No, there's I remember we were talking about this off camera, actually, and you could probably bring this back up. But this idea of Cristoforo, like, I think he's actually such a really cool character. is like the type, you know, you hate to love him, love to hate him type stuff. And I remember, I think you were saying that there's like a term for that sort of character.
Yeah. So there is a phrase, and this isn't like a judgment value, but there is similar a character archetype called a magnificent B word, and the B word here would be illegitimate child, and that is simply a character description or like an archetype for someone who is so, you know. It's a villainous antagonistic character, but they are being so charismatic about it that it kind of leaves you with these conflicting feelings, right? Because he's, you know, like he's terrible, but he's also so good at it, and you kind of find yourself drawn to him. Like he steals the scene, and even though you're like, oh, I wish you didn't do this villainous thing, you're also kind of anticipating seeing him, and you kind of like to see him because whatever he does it well, and it's interesting. So it's a very difficult character, and I think that's why people have such strong conflicting emotions about him, right? Because
100%.
You shouldn't like him, but people are drawn to it, and I think there's going to be something interesting like we haven't seen about him yet. I think he'll play out in a cool way.
100%. Yeah, like he's also got some really nice drip.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I just like his drip. I think he's like really stylish.
Oh yeah, he looks good.
Yeah. What, you even like the mask?
It's cool. So there's a game called Persona 5 that made masks like super popular. Like, because even in the end of the 2.0, they had the Carnival, and everybody had a mask. Carlotta's mask was peak. It was such a good looking mask. But
I haven't seen that. I need to see.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, the mask is cool. Because
it's appropriate for Rinascita because it looks exactly like a Venetian like mask.
Consider the implications that all the a lot of the characters wear masks, right? Like we have never seen Cristoforo's bare face. We have only seen him in a mask, right? And also Fenrico appears with a half mask, right? Which is hiding the corruption of the dark tide, and the eyes even closed. And I remember the first time I played this, I even said in my playthrough, like, what is the symbolism of this religious figurehead having like a half mask with a closed eye? Like, what is that about? And I think there's just something really cool about this idea of masks, whether it's, you know, everyone is two-faced or like not presenting the full truth, or if it's just, you know, the overall theme of like the hidden truth in Rinascita. I just think it's curious.
I will say, I think we have seen Cristoforo without his mask though.
Have we actually? Oh, okay.
I think we did.
Maybe we have. But I mean, he chooses to wear the mask often, right?
Oh, 100%. And it looks like a plague doctor.
Yeah.
Which is also already just like, and when we first saw his ability in Chacona's event quest, it had like a green aura around it. If you remember with the teddy bears, with the plushie gang is what they're called. And it was like a green aura. So it's like plague doctor, green aura. Yeah, you're not good. You're trying to play coy.
The red clothes should have been the first giveaway, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just drawn in by his shoes because they look like really medieval Jordans, and I was like, okay, these are actually kind of clean.
Okay.
But
stylish.
Hey.
I just wanted to shout out the vocal performance because I like Huey O'Grady, who voices him, is American, and it is unusual as a Brit to hear an American do an English accent so incredibly fluently and natively. Like, it's not possible, it's perfect. It's like, it's so satisfyingly like he's doing a kind of, it's vocally, it's a different quality. I was going to say Scar from The Lion King. Has that similarly kind of luxurious. It's not the same quality because Jeremy Irons is more growly, but Huey's clearly having so much fun in making him very red velvet. Like,
it's very theatrical, like deliberately, right? Like, and I love that he's giving us a Shakespearean villain, right?
Exactly, I love it.
Which is also what I did with Fleur-de-Lis in a way, but I love hearing that because I think that's why certain characters really stand out, because you're like, wait, they're giving a theatrical performance intentionally, right? But it makes sense for the character because he's all about the drama.
100%.
His calmness also is underlined by how playful the tone of delivery is, because he's just so unbothered in the way that he takes his time to deliver stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be actually an interesting moment. And we kind of saw a small little crack, like a very small crack in the armor during the finale, because yeah, he usually is super composed, super calm. And there was this one moment that I remember. It was on the bridge right after we get out of that little corridor that you were talking about earlier. And you see Cristoforo, and as he's about to leave, he has like this weird, like, I was like, don't make a face like that. I don't want to see that. It was like this, I'm gonna be honest, I heard somebody use this word and I was like, maybe that's an interesting way to describe it, but it was almost like a perverse look on his face. He's normally very calm. And then he had this like, I don't even know if I can replicate it, kind of like a sneering look on his face.
Yeah.
Based on something that Rover had said, I think.
Exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And
I was wondering about that, like what that means, because you know how like we have had interactions with Frolova a long time before we actually learned the relationship between Frolova and Rover.
Yeah.
I feel like, because we now know that the Fraxiters have history with Rover, I was wondering, like,
we
Rover and
your
Cristoforo, they will probably also have some kind of history, whether it's the same, you know, whether it's more distant or similar to what Rover and Frolova have gone through. I wondered if that was an irritation that Rover's still like, you're not getting it. I'm telling you, I'm hinting. Are you really not picking up my clues? And it was like that tiny crack in like,
you're so smart. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
trying to tell you something before the finale and you're not getting it. Okay, never mind. You know,
this is why I enjoy talking with you, Amanda. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I feel like he was trying to hint at something. I don't know what, but
in 2.5, Frolova did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
She, if you paid attention, she was trying to like poke at Rover to say certain things to get him to like remember that they had history. And Rover's just, you know, dense. And you know, it's like, hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah. So anyway, about that was a weird thing to say. Anyway. Yeah. And so, yeah, you know what? That might be what Cristoforo's MO was.
See, again, this is, guys, again, I know nothing. I'm just guessing, right, as someone who's playing the game. But I feel like that could even be like some sort of, you know, there's so many like plans within plans and like, you know, contingencies and contingencies. And it would be so funny if actually Rover and Cristoforo did have some kind of contingency, but like he literally cannot act until Rover gives him the go ahead. And he's like, oh, yeah. Is this it? Did you want me to? No? Okay. Never mind. You know, I'm
so
just curious.
Funny. Oh my gosh. You got me a little bit with that. Like, you see, that's theory, an acting background. And no, because even the way that you presented that theory, your acting background came through, and you had me scared a little bit. I'm pretty sure y'all watching are probably scared too. Because you're like, you can imagine Cristoforo doing that. And it's just like, I'm just waiting for the day that your thing clicks. So that way I'm justified in my wrath or something. Yeah. Like, man, that'd be crazy.
We'll see. This is just a crazy theory, but who knows? Who knows?
It's just a theory. Okay. All right. Well, look, thank you all so much for the time that you all have spent with us. I'm going to just say this real quick to everybody watching. If you've gotten this far in the video, you get some special knowledge. All right. This is the second time that we've recorded this. We actually recorded this a week ago, but my computer doesn't like acting right. And so these two were gracious enough to say, you know what, it's okay. We can try again next week. So they deserve all the flowers, all the accolades. They're the GOATs. So yeah, that's just a little something for those of y'all who stuck around to the end.
Oh, and here's another piece of trivia that we forgot. The voice of Leviathan and Imperator. I know a lot of you are asking, but we have the inside info. If you are still wondering, it's the same voice actor, and her name is Rachel Atkins. She is phenomenal. And I have known this for a while, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if she was going to like announce herself. I think it's simply the matter that she's not active on social media. But I see that she is credited on, so you don't think I'm making this up, she's credited on the Wuthering Waves like fandom wiki, so she is credited there, so, you know, but I can confirm that it is her for all of you. Obviously, you know, there are many of you who are big fans of her work, and she's amazing, so now you know.
And that was, neither of us like spoke about that moment, but the moment when she is like constrained in those chains and we're all pulling on her and she calls out Abraxas, like it was, just every single person I've seen who's seen that moment, everyone is just like, because the way she delivers it is just
no, it was so good. Such a legend.
You okay, we have to say this then. All right, listen. One of the things that I did think that was really interesting with that, because it hit me pretty hard, was that apparently the English delivery was different than the other ones because of one word in particular. In English, she says, "Oh, Abraxas, why hast thou betrayed us?" Right? That's what she says. And it hits like, you know, like a truck, because it's just like, wow. And in particular, hopefully I had the line right, but in particular, the parts that I found the most emphasis to be on were the name Abraxas and the word why, Abraxas and why. Whereas in I want to say Korean, Chinese, and Japanese, they have one word that's different, and it says even. So it's basically, why has even thou betrayed us? And that difference also comes, at least from what it sounded like to me, with a difference in emphasis based on certain words. Where it seemed like more emphasis was on the word, less on the name Abraxas, more on, you know, like the betrayal slash, the term betrayal seemed to be more of what you heard being emphasized on that part of the conversation, or this statement. So I was curious from a voice acting perspective. I'm gonna go with you on this one, Amanda. What do you think of that difference?
I think sometimes it's as simple as things translate slightly differently. So maybe, you know, emphasizing different words is more effective or feels more appropriate in other languages, and maybe in English the case was simply that they probably tried it several ways because it's such an important line, and maybe they found that it's punchier and it gets more to the point to just say, Abraxas, why have you betrayed us? So that we're focusing on, oh wait, Abby is Abraxas, and they have betrayed the Threnodian, implying that they were supposed to help the Threnodian or side with the Threnodian, and that's the key takeaway. And maybe in other languages, maybe that even is there because it's like, even you did, like everyone has betrayed us, even you, and that even somehow makes it more clear to us then Abby was the last person that the Threnodian expected to get betrayed by. Like, if anyone should have been on their side, it was Abby, and maybe that makes the meaning clearer. I don't know. I mean, that's a localization question, I guess, but what do you think, Alex?
Well, I think it also, I'm thinking that probably, and I could be wrong about the machinations of this, but there won't be one director making all of these choices. This might be an expression of personal taste of 3-4 different directors. So when we work on the English dub, we have our director at side, and usually we do like an ABC run of each line, and they make the choice, or they give you a redirect. And then if the representative at Kuro, who we always shout out Claire because we love her, if Claire disagrees or has a different take or wants to redirect herself, she can pitch it in and does. But usually the choice is made by the director at side. And I imagine that there's an equivalent process that happens in Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. And so it might be that director felt that the punchiest delivery or the most heartrending thing. It would be interesting to know, like, if there is some magical being, if you're out there who speaks all of those languages, I would love you.
Shout out to the polyglots.
If you are a polyglot, comment below on your analysis of that difference, because I wonder if it might just be differences between different creatives' tastes.
Yeah, or even cultures.
Yeah.
Like maybe one culture values the idea less of like, you know, it's not so much about the betrayal for that culture. It's more so about, you know, that even is important because it's like, yeah, betrayal happens, but we recognize this to be a very specific betrayal. Whereas for the other culture, it might be, well, no, the betrayal in and of itself was like the biggest offense of all. Like the fact that it even existed. So yeah, that could have been it too. But with that being said, we're gonna basically give you all an opportunity to kind of just like, you know, shout out your socials, where people can find you, so forth and so on, because I'm sure you all have a lot of things that you're working on. And if they do want to know those things, then they can find you at the places where you can be found. So with that being said, I'll let you go first, Alex, and then Amanda.
I am at Guelff on X and on Instagram. So if you can spell my crazy surname, you can find me. But maybe life will spell it for you because it's
It'll
weird.
be in the description.
Yes, and I have not had the foresight to be completely consistent with my naming schemes. On X, which is probably where I post the most, I am at Amanda_Rischel, and the reason for that is that I actually made another Twitter account like years ago that I'm locked out of because I don't have access to that email, so I literally stole my name from myself. Anyway, on Instagram, I am just at Amanda Rischel, and if you want to watch my game streams every now and then, which I often sometimes do with Alex, you can find me at Amanda Rischel VA on Twitch and YouTube.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is Life Lessons Gaming. You can find me at lots of places. I actually need to start getting on Instagram myself, but yeah, TikTok, the tubes of you, where you're probably watching this now. So forth and so on, X, all that fun stuff you'll see in the description. But yeah, so thank you all so much. Once again, I do lore and story content for games. So yeah, it's been fun. Until next time, I will catch you all. Peace.
Hey, you. Do the thing.